putting the dots in the I's and the cross in the T's. That's enough BS already. The mainstream media, if you read the Tribune this week, you have to realize that the mainstream media is like I've been saying for years. I've seen saying that is the problem. They lie and they hide stuff that they need to let the people know because they like to be controlling every move that the politicians do and everything else. We need to start boycotting the mainstream media. Don't buy the newspaper. Don't subscribe to the newspaper, and see what happens. See how soon they're going to do that. They're going to come back to reality. You don't need to. Anyway, it's nothing to read in the newspaper. It's like the Channel 8. I watched Channel 8 this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. All they talk about is Mississippi, Michigan, everywhere else but Las Vegas, but Nevada. I don't mind if they talk about Reno or they talk about Perón, they talk about any other city in Nevada, but Jesus, for Christ's sake, it's ridiculous. In the old days, you got the local news and you got the national news. And I have to tell you, I've been watching the Spanish television in the last 4 or 5 days, and they do that. They have a very, very good local news, and then they go into the national news. I don't agree with everything they said, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the fact is that we need local news. Local news. They cannot afford local news, then they should go out of business instead of lying to the people in this city and pretend to be the most watched television, the #1 news. Everybody has a different slogan for their TV shows, and nobody has even Channel 13. I was shocked to see how little local news they got. It's not what it need to be done. And we need to stop patronizing those things. I tell you, I don't watch those shows anymore. Today it was a miracle. I don't watch those shows anymore. I go to every other CNN and CNBC, NBC, Fox, all those shows. Because if I'm going to watch something about New York, Philadelphia, Washington, well, might as well watch it from the real thing, instead of than Channel 8, Channel 13. Even Channel 5, for Christ's sake, they got Fox News, and that's all they do, rerun from the Fox News television station. Anyway,
why do we have local stations in all the cities?
I got excited with this thing, and I forgot to introduce my co-host and my Mr. Producer, Mr. Clark Philly. I'm sorry, Clark, I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot to introduce you. And actually, I wanted to find out what is that big picture in the wall, man. I can't believe that big. Is that what $1.5 million looks like?
Yep, that's what it looks like.
So it's not that big, damn, right? $1.5 million is not that much.
Well, it depends on whether it's in cash or a worthless piece of paper.
Oh.
See, that's just paper over there.
Oh.
It wasn't paper when I bought it. I had to pay $1,340,000 for that.
Oh boy. And whose signature is in the check?
The branch manager where I got the check.
So he got the cash and he
got
give
the
you a
cash.
piece of paper.
Yes, and he talked me into the piece of paper because I asked for cash.
So he's a good salesman. He
He
sold you
said, why do you want to leave? Well, he has a point.
He sold you a piece of paper for $1.5 million?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
We should get him in the Trump campaign.
Yeah, we need to get him.
Unify the Republican Party.
We need to get him to sell advertising for the Tribune. You know?
He was right, though. He was correct that it's a lot better to walk out with a cashier's check that's as good as cash. If you lose it, at least you have a chance of getting it back if you're the real person that is entitled to the check like I am.
I know.
I mean, that's a good reason. What if you lost it? What if someone stole it from you? I mean, you'd have no recourse. You have cash, that's it.
Well, I always could have kept the money for you,
Right, yeah. I wonder how much would still be there today. The evaporation going on.
Are you telling me that I will steal the money?
No, just evaporates. Money has a tendency to evaporate.
Really?
Yeah. And if you leave it in a bank, what do you get? 0.0003% or something? It's a joke. It's an insult. And they're trying to get it to a negative, to where you actually pay to keep your money in a bank. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be a negative interest.
I know that.
Right. Yeah.
I was shocked when they told me that the other day.
Yeah.
And they want to charge you now every time you write a check.
Right. Every time you go to a bank machine, they're trying. They haven't got it yet, but when you go to your own bank machine and use the ATM and try to get money, they're desperate to try to charge you a fee. Like at least a couple bucks to do that, to get your own mony from your own bank.
Then you don't have to drive to the bank.
And now, yeah.
You go to any machine and
they charge
you $2.50.
Right. Now, if you go to a bank that's written a check, like I go to People's United Bank with a check written on People's United Bank, and I say, here, cash this, the first question they ask you, or any bank, are you a customer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, this check's written on your bank, I want the money. I'm cashing the check, just give me the money. But you're not a customer. You need to have an account here to do that. No, the check's written.
They charge you $10 for that.
Well, yeah, they try to charge you. They're cashing their own check.
Yeah.
Written on their account.
Yeah. I had a customer that gave me a check from some credit union, and first of all, they only got 3 offices in Las Vegas. Okay, 2 of them don't have cash. They don't have cash. You have to go all the way to Rainbow and Charleston to cash the check, and they charge $10 now to cash their own check.
Yeah, amazing. They're
I wonder how legal that is.
Well, I don't think it really is, but you have to have leadership, you have to have enforcement, you have to have somebody in the country that upholds the laws, because the laws of this country are supposed to be by the people, for the people. Remember us, we the people? That's who the laws are supposed to be for. But we've lost focus on that issue. And now the laws are for whoever wants to grab your money. Like this bank, for example. They actually sent money that they are obligated to keep, to pay that check on the wall. They're obligated to pay that check. What did they do? They sent the money someplace else. And the reasons that they say why they did that are not relative reasons. You can't send money someplace else that you're holding to pay a check that you have an obligation to pay. How do you send the money somewhere else? They say, well, we have a court order. What's the date of the court order? Oh, well, it's a month after the date of that check. Well, the date of that check means that that's cash. Cash was given for that check, and you have to give cash back.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as cash. So if a bank says, well, we've been enjoined by a court, we can't pay that check. No, the check is cash. So are you telling me that if I had cash like I wanted to, I went to the bank, I asked for cash, if they had given me cash and I walked out the door with the cash, are they going to send me a letter saying bring the cash back because we got an order from the court saying we can't pay you cash? You already did. The horse has already been let out of the barn. You can't close the door now. The horse is gone. That cash is gone. You have to pay the cash, period. That's it. Why is this so hard to understand? Because they're snakes. Because someone at that bank got paid an envelope full of cash to do this. Otherwise, why the hell would a banker ever do this? Why? because a bunch of snake lawyers went in there and tried to work the banker. And that's a despicable bank that allows that to happen. The chairman of the board of that bank should be looking for a job. And he's not qualified for any job. I don't know how he's going to get a job. He's not qualified. He's a snake. In Japan, if he was Japanese, he would have to commit harikari, because it happened on his watch, right? Anything that goes wrong in a Japanese corporation, the guy at the top always pays the price, because he's in charge of everything.
Yeah, well.
And you know what you get? You get people at the top that make sure that their damn business runs right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to have to stick the old sword in his
So
gut.
it's not the same way here?
No, hell no. It's who pays money to who.
Well,
as long as you get a kickback, you do what you do. Why? Because you have the money. It's the same thing with Judge Earl. Get the money dispersed to everybody, and then this little pesky Clark Feely will go away. Because he doesn't have any money left. We took all the money, so he's done, right? Well, nice try, Judge. You're going to go to jail, buddy. You're going to go to jail. That's where you belong. You're no better off than Willie Sutton. You know who Willie Sutton was? He was the famous bank thief. And somebody asked him one day, why do you rob banks? He says, because that's where the money is. Well, those were in the days before a bank officer of the bank beat him to it. Willie Sutton shows up today and says, give me all your money. He says, no, the bank president over here already stole it all. He's too goddamn late.
What's the name of the bank president?
Yeah, in this particular case, Jack Barnes is the CEO of this despicable People's United Bank that nobody ever should do business with, ever. And what they've done is they've committed a crime, a scheme with other players, courts, lawyers, judges, trustees. So what they've done is they've committed an act that Congress passed a law called RICO, Racketeer Influence Corruption Organization Act. They passed that in 1970, and they passed it primarily to be a tool for the government to go after the mafia or corrupt organizations like the mafia. Well, over the years, there's other corrupt organizations that are worse than the mafia, and one of those is our judicial system, because they're corrupt. When you have a system like you do in Nevada where judges have to get elected, that means they have to raise campaign contributions. And who can they put the squeeze on to get campaign contributions? Well, the lawyers that are dependent upon their rulings, of course. You want good rulings in this court, you better get a good check in that ball over there.
Or the campaign managers.
Well, whatever, same thing. It's all corruption. It's all corruption. Other states around the country, some have already done this, others are looking at it, others are in the process of changing their process of selecting judges to where a judge does not have to raise campaign contributions to be elected a judge. That's despicable. That leads to nothing but corruption. Other states have learned that, and they're backing away from it.
There's your limo.
Well, it's 12:14. Every day he comes by here exactly the same time.
Wow.
He is the most on-time limo driver, if that's what that is, a limo. It certainly is loaded up.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious. Looks
It
like a
doesn't
guy
fail.
we used to have here as an in-house attorney.
He doesn't fail, yeah.
Almost everything with him every time he shows up.
Yeah. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't. Maybe I have, but I didn't know it because I couldn't see around. Like him. Do you see him when all you see is the cart and everything?
Well, let me ask you. Are you going to show the check to the audience, or?
Oh well, maybe I could. We'll see what it looks like here.
It doesn't have to be right now, but you know.
Oh.
It's,
There it is.
that's probably,
People's United Bank.
That's what $1,340,000 looks like.
$1,340,000. Cashier's check. Cashier's check. Now, what is that little print underneath the cashier's check? Notice to customers. The purchase of this, notice to customers. The purchase of an indemnity bond may be required before this check will be replaced or refunded in the event it is lost, destroyed, or stolen. Very important language there. Very important. That's the only thing written on that check. There's no expiration date. There's no good for how many days on there. Nothing like that. It only says, in a way, if you read the language, that this is just the same thing as cash, and if you lose this, you're in deep crap. It doesn't say that if we pay someone else, this check's not gonna be any good because we've given the money to somebody else. I don't see that on there, do you? I don't see that on there. But that's what happened. They gave this money that I gave them to pay this check to me, they gave it to someone else. Now, is that a bank? Would you do business with a bank if you knew that's what they were gonna do?
But you didn't show the name of the bank, did you?
Yeah, People's United Bank. Sure I did.
Okay.
Very important. People's United Bank, their headquarters is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And there may be banks as despicable as them, there may be. I haven't found them yet, but I'll guarantee you this, there's no bank more despicable than that bank led by Jack Barnes, the CEO of that bank, is despicable.
Are they aware that they're doing something wrong?
I've been telling them that for years. And you know what they tell me? Well, call the lawyers out there in Nevada. Don't talk to us. Call the lawyer. So I have to call the criminals that are participating in the RICO Act with their partners, the CEO of the bank there, Jack Barnes. They're in partnership. They're scheming together to do this. For example, they entered an agreement together to enter this scheme to steal the money. And in that scheme, they say that if the check should come through channels, like I cash that check at another bank, and then it goes to the clearing house, it's called, and then that's the channel that goes and handles all the checks in the country, goes to People's United Bank to pay the check. When they get that at their bank to pay it, they have a few hours to pay it. They have to pay it by midnight on the day they receive it. Well, if they don't pay it, they have to put on there why they're not paying it. Maybe there's no money in the account, but this is a cashier's check. So they have the money, it's not on someone's account, they have the money, so they can't do that. They can't say it's a lost check, because there's the check, so it's not lost, so they have to pay it. But what does the bank put in this agreement? They will keep the check and tell the person that presented the bank, like this other bank, to call the lawyers in Nevada.
What lawyers?
The people that stole the money.
Your lawyer or the other lawyers?
My lawyer, the other lawyers, just call the lawyers.
All the lawyers?
Yeah, just call the criminals. The RICO participants in this scam. Just call them. How can a bank be that stupid? How can they have leadership in that bank? They should be running the country like Obama, not a bank. A bank has a very stable necessity of their being, that they protect people's money. That's their job. If they can't do that, we're going to have to come up with another way to do this, because you can't trust a bank.
Well, you know, if you make me a check like that, a cashier check like that, I will place it over here and behind me, and everybody that listen to this show or watch this show, it will see that the People United Bank and George Allen Arrow conspired. That's a word they love to use.
They schemed. They were in a conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Which was a scheme
to steal that money from you.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and why did they want to do that? Why did Earl have an agenda to take the money from a trust, by the way, a trust? Why did he want that? So he could pay the lawyers in his courtroom. Who are those lawyers? They're the ones that contribute to campaigns and judges.
But let me tell you something.
It's a simple equation.
But let me tell you something. In my opinion, I can be wrong, even though I have never been wrong before. But, you know, it's always the first time. Everybody can be greedy. Everybody can make a mistake trying to make a few bucks, you know. But what really, really concerned me, besides bothering me, is what happened to the district attorney. Well, I don't know if the district attorney has any power over the court, but what about the U.S. attorney? What about the Supreme Court? What about
This was a branch in New Hampshire that gave me this check. I went to the Attorney General of New Hampshire. Okay?
Yeah, he was on the news today too.
And told him about this. And he goes and he finds that there's litigation in Nevada about this. So he doesn't have the jurisdiction to do anything. No, this crime happened in your state. What the hell does Nevada have to do with it? They don't have any jurisdiction in Nevada. And you say you don't have any jurisdiction where the crime was committed?
You know,
Who the hell does?
I don't understand why the bank or any other institution for that matter, get involved in a family problem.
Because they got an envelope full of cash. A bank officer. There's no such thing as the bank. There's people that work at the bank.
Well,
and
you
they
don't
have
know
titles.
that. You don't have any proof to that, right?
There's no such, yeah, the bank is controlled by people. People have the authority to do this and this in the name of the bank, right?
Yeah, but you don't know the guy who,
Oh, well, why would he do it then?
I don't know.
Why would a bank officer sign an agreement with the court here in Nevada saying things like this agreement is between a court-appointed, Nevada-appointed receiver, they called him. And you know why there was a receiver? Because Judge Earl had removed me as trustee illegally because he didn't have jurisdiction and appointed a friend of his, a local friend, that would do whatever he said. Because a judge that's going to break the law needs a trustee to help him. He can't just steal money from a trust by himself. He needs a trustee to go along with his plan because he can't sign any checks himself. So you need a trustee.
And who is the trustee?
The trustee is a Randall Thorman here, a local CPA that lives in Nevada, Las
Can we
Vegas,
invite
Nevada.
him to come to the
Yeah,
show?
good luck. He's running like a scalded dog right now because the house of cards is collapsing on him.
Oh.
And he was involved in the negotiation with the bank. The judge appointed him to be a representative of the court, I guess, instead of the beneficiaries. He was working for the court,
Well,
and they entered into this agreement. Well, the trustee refused to sign the agreement that he himself negotiated with the bank. That's the reason the judge had to appoint somebody else. So he appointed the losing defense attorney that had put in a bill for $600,000 in fees that he wanted to be paid for. He made him the receiver because the judge knew the receiver would do whatever the judge told him to do too, because he was going to try to get his $600,000, right? So he enters the agreement with the bank. So it's between the bank and this receiver. The receiver's an illegal receiver.
well, what about the other lawyer, Bengochea or Carachea or what's his name?
Kobiega?
Kobiega.
Kobiega is an estate attorney
Yeah.
that got involved in this
Do you
case.
think he will come and talk?
Never. He's
No?
a snake.
Okay, so who can we bring in here to talk about this? Because I tell you the truth, I'm getting tired of writing. I'm getting tired of talking about that in the radio show.
Yeah.
We got more important things than keep talking about a piece of trash attorney than
Well, it goes a lot deeper than my deal and what's going on in this particular
No,
case.
no, your deal is not
Because
important in here now. It's the corruption.
The corruption of the court.
corruption.
And this is the
and
one
the
case-
manipulation of the court with the
That's
bank
exactly
and
right.
the attorney.
This can't stand. This cannot stand. Otherwise, there's no law in the
I
whole country.
would never spend 9 months writing about something just because you lost $1 million.
Right.
I got friends that have lost more than that,
Right.
you know. But I'm saying this is the only reason that we keep insisting in that is because what they're doing is wrong. Completely wrong. And we need to expose that, and we need to make sure that these people are accountable
That's right.
for
Here's what
that.
it boils down to. You go to the bank, right? It's supposed to be the place that you protect your money. You go to a bank, you deposit your money. Okay. You go back a week later, you say, I want my money. And they say, I'm sorry, we gave it to somebody else. And you go, what are you talking about? It's my money, I want my money. Well, you need to talk to the person out there in Nevada that we gave the money to. You need to talk to this lawyer out there. Well, I gave you the money. What the hell are you talking about? I have to talk to some lawyer that stole the money? Who is it, Willie Sutton? Who do I have to talk to? I mean, you know, what are you talking about? So what do you do if that happens to you? What do you do? You're standing there in the winter, the bank has stolen your money. What do you do? There's supposed to be laws that prevent that, right? There's banking regulations. There's the officer, the controller of the currency. There's UCC, there's FDIC, all these banking regulators and government agencies that have been created by Congress and this and that. Aren't they supposed to protect against stuff like that? Aren't the courts supposed to uphold laws and protect you? Okay, you go to the Attorney General of New Hampshire. I don't have the jurisdiction. You go to the governor of I don't have the authority to oversee the Supreme Court on a legal issue. I don't have the authority. You go to all these government officials that are supposed to be enforcers. Nobody has a jurisdiction. Nobody has authority. Nobody has nothing. So what has this country become? It's become a bunch of Willie Suttons, a bunch of thieves.
But then we're talking about an attorney that get paid $15,000 to defend a person, then they committed a crime, and that's what they get paid for, to commit, they get to defend these people. And not then they really defended that well. You know, attorneys in this town are known for not defending the people, but taking the money.
Well, I'm just gonna speculate here. Maybe the attorney told his client, well, you need to cop a plea because we'll never be able to, you know, they're gonna get you on this.
Of course.
You need to plead guilty. The guy said, I'm not guilty.
So
the
he
lawyer
left.
said, well, you have to plead. So he left. He said,
run.
screw this, he's getting
So
rid
now
of it.
what? The attorney had to return the money.
He didn't do anything for the money except tell the client to plead
But
guilty.
now
and
he's gonna
not
go to
guilty.
jail for stealing the $15,000.
Well, I don't know. There's an investigation from the FBI.
Oh, it is?
Well, that's what it was in the paper the
I
other day.
thought it was the attorney general.
I don't know who's doing it, but the
I don't
FBI's
know.
involved
Oh, really?
in cahoots with this investigation. But I've gone to the FBI, investigate this. You have a Nevada District Court judge sign an order telling this receiver to enter this agreement that a check is lost. A cashier's check has been lost. This is the same judge that signed an order trying to get me arrested unless I turn the check over to him. So what check is he talking about? Is it the one that I have in my possession that he knows about, that he's trying to throw me in jail because I won't give it to him? What check is he saying is lost? Obviously the same check. So this is a judge that broke the law and did a Class A felony, punishable up to 30 years in jail and $1 million fine, and the FBI won't do anything about it. Because why? Because it's a judge? Because he's part of the good old boys, part of the system, and the foxes are supposed to protect the foxes instead of the hens, us, we the people? We don't have any protection this day and age. We have none. And that's why we're writing these stories, or you are, because it's so important. We have to get this out to the people. That, God damn it, you better pay attention to what's going on because you're going to be next.
Yeah.
You got to get your money out of the bank. Run on, every bank needs to have a run on it because no bank, in my opinion, has credibility until they prove they have credibility. Because you can't rely on them. They keep your money. What are you going to do?
And maybe that is one of the reasons why the banks acting like snitches for the government. If you go to the bank and you take more than $10,000 or deposit more than $10,000, they call the law enforcement. I don't know, they call the Attorney General, they call the Metro, they call the FBI.
No, they
I don't know who they call.
They send in a form.
Oh, they send a form.
Yep.
Oh.
Identifying who you were and what you did, and then they'll come knocking on your door if they want to find out, you know, what that money went to. But you're right, the government is forcing
The bank to be
the banks
snitches.
to be snitches. And the same thing with the casinos. If you go to a casino and you have a pocket full of money and you go to a crap table and you lose $1,000, $4,000, $6,000, $8,000, oops! When you get to $10,000, everything stops. Pit boss comes up. You have to fill out this form and sign it, or they won't let you go on and gamble anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the way it is?
They have to turn in that you did
Really?
a transaction in the casino for
They don't let you
$10,000.
lose all you want, and then
No,
they tell the
they
government.
fill a
that-
form. They fill a form. If you go to a slot machine, okay, this really gets wild. If you win over $1,200 payout, they call it, on a slot machine, if you win like a quarter machine, you win a royal flush, you get paid maybe more than $1,200. They have to stop everything. The machine locks up. Here they come with a form. You have to give them identification. They have to fill out the form and all this stuff, and you have to sign it saying that, you know, you got this money, and then that goes to the IRS, and then they're going to want you to pay taxes on that money. Now, what if you already lost $2,000 before you won that $1,200?
Oh, they don't care
That
about
doesn't count. No, that's disallowed. The $1,200 is what counts. Now, let's say you're a high roller, and you're playing the same machine, but now this machine, you're playing with $500 tokens, okay?
Yeah.
So to put 5 tokens in there, you gotta pay $2,500 just to play the spin of the reel one time. $2,500, it costs you. It's in the machine, okay? You hit a pair of jacks. You're paid more money than $1,200. You're paid $2,500. Because all you did was get your money back. It's your money. You haven't won anything. They're going to come up, stop the machine. You're going to fill out a form, declaring that you were paid out $2,500. And you haven't been paid anything. You just got your money back that you put in the machine. That's how stupid these laws are. And that's how stupid the casino owners and people of power in this country are, that they allow the government to do that. It's stupid.
Well, they have
you know
to,
how much money
they
spend?
have to allow the government to do stuff like that because, for example, here in Las Vegas, the district attorney's office, the bad check unit, is acting like a collection agency for the casinos. It's been going on through years.
Right.
You know, if you don't make a marker, you don't even write a check, you write a marker. A marker. You know what a marker is, right?
Well,
A piece of paper that you
they're
sign.
becoming more and more representative that they look just like a check. Because
Oh,
they're
they
trying to
do?
massage things around to get the DA to be their collection agency.
So it's almost like you sign it, you cash a check.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to go.
Yeah.
And that's why they get to go to the DA to get them to enforce these marker checks or whatever.
Oh.
Now you
okay.
think about that. You didn't go buy a product. I guess you kind of did, but let's say you write a check for $3,000 and a marker, and you lose that money. You lost it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You leave the casino. You're pissed off because you think they cheated you or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to pay the marker. You know, they got to prove that they won it fair and square. You know, no, they just go to the DA. The DA knocks on your door, files charges against you. I guess criminal charges. I didn't think there was a criminal element to a debt collector. I don't think they could throw you in jail for a debt, can they? But it's not a debt. You see, it's a check.
It's a bad check.
That's why they manipulate it.
Yeah.
It's a debt. A marker should be a debt, not a check. But you see, they manipulate everything. Over time, they subvert, they get around the laws, they massage everything so that they can get you see? And then who falls for it? The people, like the DA and everybody, they all fall for it.
Oh, no, they don't fall for it. They know
They're all
what
in
they're
on
doing.
it. They're all in on it.
They own it.
But the people
No.
fall for it.
No, yeah. You know, I think that is wrong. If anybody give a casino a bad check, yeah, the casino has the right as being a legitimate business in the Clark County in Las Vegas, you know. And what's happening is they are trying to run this like it is. What we call them a legitimate business, but it is a piece of paper. It's not a check. It's not a bank material. It's not, you know. This could be, maybe you can go to the casino and cash that check.
Well, I can, but they won't give me the money right away because there's too much money.
Oh.
So they want to run it through. Right, so then it goes
And
to
they
the
put them
clearinghouse.
in your account.
Yeah, and then they put a freeze on the account, waiting for it to clear.
Yeah.
In this particular case, I think the law is they'll give me $500 right away, right then and there, over the counter. Okay.
500.
And then they'll give me $2,500 in 5 days, or something like that. And then the whole amount has to be given to me in 9 days.
Oh.
Okay, but through the clearing processes they have now, which is all done electronically, really. That check should clear within a day at the most, maybe 2 days. That check should clear, okay? So, they're going to hold your money for 9 days. And then the agreement that the bank signed, which proves complicity, in this agreement they state that if the check comes through legal channels, the clearinghouses, that if the check comes into the bank, they're going to keep the check and not send it back. That is another violation of the law. You can't do that.
You talk about that casino?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If that comes through
I
the
thought
bank
you were talking
legally,
about the casinos.
anything, that's how they distort everything. They distort, they don't go by the law. They distort and they ignore the law. They ignore it. Like this bank says, well, you're not the trustee. We can't even talk to you. You're not the trustee. Well, I was the trustee when I gave you the money for that check. I was the trustee, or you wouldn't have given me the check. It's made out to the Martha E. Feely Real Estate Trust. I was the trustee, or I wouldn't have had an account at the bank. I had to get an EIN number from the IRS, open up an account, prove to everybody that I was who I said I was. It all went through because I am who I say I am. And now they're saying, well, you're not the trustee. Why am I not the trustee? And this was in New Hampshire, remember. You're not the trustee because the Nevada court says you're not the trustee. Well, who the hell's a Nevada court? This is like what just happened here on some mining claims that are in California. A district court judge here in Nevada had made a ruling that the mining claims had to be given to the state of Nevada so they could liquidate them and disperse the money to some people that were in a lawsuit here in Nevada. Well, the Supreme Court just weighed in and said, wait a minute. No state in this country has jurisdiction over another state's property. You completely, the state of Nevada in this particular case, completely lacked jurisdiction. Completely. The Supreme Court of Nevada used the word completely. They had to throw that word in there. That emphasizes how important this is. Because no state, think about it, could control another state. Every state has sovereignty. A judge in one state can't control another state's sovereignty. They wouldn't have 50 individual states then.
Yeah. Okay, let me go now to Mr. Bundy. I was under the impression that we all have the right to hire any attorney we want to. Why is the Larry Clayman not allowed to defend
well, I'll tell
Clayman Bundy?
We could talk two things. One, why, and one, what the legal issue is, okay? The why is because Judge Navarro doesn't want Larry Clayman anywhere near her because she's gonna have to answer questions that she cannot answer. Because she's in on the scam of what's going on here.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's not true.
Harry Reid doesn't have anything to do with this? Just because he happens to own the land next to Bundy? Has nothing to do with this. That's just a coincidence.
No, it's a coincidence that Harry Reid is the one that nominated her.
That's a coincidence. Just like he owns the land next to Bundy.
Right.
That's a coincidence. That's a double coincidence.
Yeah, you know,
So we have multiple coincidences.
I hate to say that about Judge Navarro because I believe I used to know her father and her mother, and I believe that she comes from a very, very honorable family. But I guess
who gives her paycheck?
Kids, you know, you can be a good family and your kid. Look at the Binion. Look at the Binion. You know, the Binion was a hard-working rancher and a casino operator. One kid became two kids became junkies. The two died of drug overdose. The female and the boy, and then you got the other one that is working for Steve Wynn now is, I don't know what to call Jack Binion, but...
well, Jack Binion made $1 billion. I don't know if it was Mississippi or wherever, casinos that he built there. So Jack Binion has become a chip off the old block, if you will. Yeah. And the Ted Binion, or not Ted Binion, the old Binion, what was his name? Benny Binion. He came from Texas, and what he was like, I don't want to call him
No, he came from
guy.
Montana.
Well, okay, I thought he came out of Texas before he came. But
well,
anyway,
I don't know, maybe.
He was.
I know they got a ranch in Montana, but I don't know.
He was doing things wherever he was at on a gambling nature basis, which at the time was illegal in those venues that he was in. So he wasn't operating 100% by the law, let's put it that way. Okay? And then he moved to Las Vegas because it was legal here to do what he was doing. And he may have been I don't know. He may have been facing problems wherever he was, so he decided to try it the legal route for a while. So he came here not unnecessarily above board standards, let's say. And that was the history of the Binion family. Now, Jack Binion goes off and makes $1 billion legally, I guess, and Mississippi or wherever he went, and so my hat's off to him. Good job, whatever, what
Yeah,
have you.
one of
And you
those-
say he works for Win now? He works,
Yeah.
he gets a paycheck?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. He's an executive there somewhere, some high-ranking executive.
Wow.
You know,
Well,
or
anyways.
he was 6 months ago. I don't know what.
Well, who pays this Judge Navarro? Where does she get her check from?
No, she get it from the government.
Oh,
She
and
gets
this
every judge
Who
get
does Harry Reid get his check for?
every judge get paid by the same institution.
And where does Harry Reid
Yeah,
get paid?
but that's not the point. Forget about that part. The part that incriminate Judge Gloria Navarro is that Harry Reid is the one that put her in that place.
And coincidentally,
Coincidentally,
Harry
and-
Reid gets paid from the same people that the judge gets paid from.
But even if he doesn't, there's a lot of people over here that are in this town that are owned by Harry Reid. They have not paid check from the government.
Right,
There's
but in
a lot
this
of people.
particular case,
and-
they both get paid by the same party.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a double
He's the one that
coincidence.
promote her
Right.
from.
He got her job.
She wasn't even a district court judge. She wasn't even a district court judge. She was an attorney.
If a guy got you a job here at the paper, would you feel a little bit of maybe generosity towards that person? Would he be a friend of yours? He got you your job. Would you have any feeling for him at all? That he got you your job. It's hard to shake a feeling that you don't like the guy.
Well, it depends if what they ask you to do.
Right,
It
but I
depends
mean,
what you
wouldn't
are,
you have
because
a-
look, let me
wouldn't you
give
have
you,
a
for
propensity?
example, I used to be good friend with John Moran and his wife Goldie. They used to come to my house. We used to go to dinner together, you know, and everything else. When he, or not him, he never asked me that, but one of his Gusunis, asked me to do something that I consider unethical and despicable, like to be a snitch, and I refused. You know, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. You tell John that he knows me better than that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a
But
snitch.
if he asked you to do something that you didn't have any legal issues or any problem doing, you probably would have had a propensity to do what someone asked you to do because maybe he'd done something for you in the past. So maybe it's what goes around comes around. You're just doing a good deed for someone who did you a good deed. Take the legal issues out. There's nothing like that going on. It's just a friend doing something for a friend. Harry Reid got Navarro the job. She has a propensity to take care of Harry Reid.
Of course. And this is, and
That's one of
this
those
is my
coincidences.
point, and this is why I left this issue for the last 15 minutes of the show. This segment is very important for you people to listen to. We need to ignore the people that are supported by Harry Reid in this coming election. Harry Reid has no intention whatsoever to retire. He got no intention whatsoever to go home and relax and enjoy his 90th birthday sitting at home in a rocking chair. He got no intention to do any of that stuff. Harry Reid is accommodating the diamond, the baseball diamond, you know, with Cortez Masto, Ruben Kewen, Dina Titus, and I don't know who else, maybe Mike Robertson, you know.
They're called like puppet strings.
Yeah.
Strange.
And he's gonna sit in a circle and a table like this. He's gonna sit here and he's gonna tell everybody in that diamond baseball field how to talk, how to rule, how to vote, how to do everything. We need to stop Harry Reid. It
Harry
is
Reid
very
is
simple.
corruption.
It is, we need to stop his machine. That's it. And if you don't understand that, then I'm going to have to look for an interpreter. Because if you don't understand my English, then you need to find an interpreter to tell you what I'm saying and to show you how dangerous Harry Reid is.
I look at corruption as the same thing as a cancer, okay? If you get cancer, you have a chore ahead of you. It's gonna take time and a lot of effort to straighten out that corruption, that cancer, okay? Same thing in business, same thing in everything. What's going on with his check? Everything. What's going on with Harry Reid? What's going on with Bundy? He's got a cancer now. He's in jail. Why is he in jail? He hasn't done anything wrong. Because he's got cancer, and the cancer is a corruption of the Harry Reid courts, and a judge that works for the same people Harry Reid works for. They've made a mistake. They've gone too far. They've overreached, but they'll never admit that they overreached because they're snakes, so they can't admit it. So it's going to take time and effort for the poor person that has the cancer, which is Bundy, trying to get a lawyer to represent him, and now the court won't let the lawyer represent him because the lawyer is going to say, "Judge, you're creating cancer," and the judge can't answer that. Can't answer.
I was under the impression that as long as the lawyer like to take your case, either money or no money, there's a lot of lawyers that might work pro bono. There's a lot of lawyers and
But the judge doesn't want this particular lawyer.
No.
So they look and they grasp at straws.
So what was the excuse? What was the reason?
The excuse was that there is a case pending where there's been an accusation made against Larry Klayman that he's addressing in the court. It's been there for, I don't know, 10 years, I hear. It's just something out there that, again, nobody will make a decision.
That he's not allowed to practice law?
No, there's just a pending, let's call it a potential disciplinary thing that he may be facing. But he didn't do anything wrong. What he did, he caught the court doing something wrong. So the court, being the snakes they are, files these charges against Klayman, saying he did something wrong.
Okay.
So now Klayman has to beat those charges, right?
Okay.
Well, he is. But the case has been going on for 10 years and it hasn't been decided yet. He'll
Fine.
win. But in the meantime, the judge found this, and they're going to hold that as the reason to not let this guy in a court. It's like
so
me.
that's what I'm asking you. He's not allowed to work in any court?
That's up to the judge. He's working all over the country. He's in court every day. Somewhere he just filed another case against them.
In federal court?
Yes, he goes to the Supreme Court. He's practicing law every friggin' day. He does.
So this is the only case and the only court and the only judge
Probably.
that don't allow him to
I'm not
practice
going to
law.
say the only one. I'm going to say in this particular case, the judge is grasping at straws in hopes that she doesn't have to face this guy. Because this guy's going to make her look like what the person she is. She's working for the government, and she's doing the government's bidding, and the government's overreached its authority. And she can't answer Larry Klayman's questions. So she doesn't want him anywhere near her.
And of course, federal
It's like I
judges-
go to this Judge Gephardt and I say, you don't have subject matter jurisdiction. He doesn't answer the question. I go and say, you violated this statute, this statute, this statute. They don't answer the statute. They don't refer to the statute. They just ignore it. You violated the law. They ignored it. It's like you go get it. You're going down the highway 100 miles an hour. A cop pulls you over and gives you a ticket. You ignore it. You just ignore it. The speed limit here is 60 miles an hour, sir. You ignore it. You don't have any jurisdiction to give me anything. I ignore it. What are you going to do about it? When it's the court that's doing the ignoring. Who do I go to that's above the court to say, hey, this court ignored me? See, you can go to the Supreme Court, they take 80 cases a year out of 8,000. They take 1% of their cases. Is that a legal judiciary process that's here in this country? Does that make any sense? No, it makes no sense.
Let me tell you, Clark, if you go, like I have been in other countries, and you tell people in those other countries what is happening in the United States, they think you're crazy.
Yeah, they think, well, you're Cuban, you must be talking about Cuba, for example. You can't be talking about
actually,
the US.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I believe that I don't have to go outside the United States. I can go to any state in the United States of America and tell people this story of things that are happening over here, and they tell me that I'm crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I've told judges, I've told a million people about this case. They look at me like, they can't do that. Oh, really? How many people, and then the
Well,
other
we done it over here.
The other
we
people.
done it over here with
Well,
this
they
radio
did.
show.
Well, they did. You know, that's Victoria's famous response. Well, they did. Oh, okay, well, a bank robber can go rob a bank. He robbed a bank. Does that mean he can do it? Yeah, well, he did it. So that means he can do it then. They can't answer the question. It's just like Gephardt can't answer the question. Because, and that's what this Navarro doesn't want the question put to her. When Larry Klayman, a distinguished, long-time administrator of justice, if you will, he sued the Clintons, I don't know how many times, and won most of the times. That's tough to do when you're going after a sitting president. He did it and he won.
Really?
I think he's the only litigant ever to win against a sitting president. He had, now that's a pretty good thing on your resume. To be, you're a qualified attorney. Yes, he's the only one. I think he might write about it in his article this week.
Where is any way I can find that?
Go online and look up Larry Klayman.
And his
Just go Google it.
Wikipedia?
Just go to Google and look Larry Klayman, and a billion articles will come up. The guy's one of the most, he started Judicial Watch, he started Freedom Foundation, he was the founder of all these things. Now he's kind of like semi-retired in a way in Florida, but because of all this stuff that's got under his belt and his knowledge, it's hard to retire.
Who's running the Judicial Watch now? He does?
I forget, no, there's a guy that's the chairman of that organization. He's on TV a lot, especially lately, talking about, I think the other day, about the bathroom situation in North Carolina. So, I mean, this is the government overreaching.
What
So that's perfect.
we only got 5 minutes, but 4 minutes. What do you think about that? I was listening to your buddy Kevin Wall talk about that.
Who do we have, what party do we have in the White House? Are they liberal or progressives, or are they conservative? Who's in the White House?
Obama.
That's a progressive.
Obama.
Right, that's why this is called government overreach.
Oh,
Because that's what liberals and progressives do. They try to divert everybody.
Oh, that's
They try
what
to dissect everybody.
That's what the O is for overreach?
Yes, overreach.
Overreach.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And that's
Okay.
what it is.
Well,
It's
what is
government
your
overreach.
opinion?
And then the government puts sanctions on the state. If they don't listen to the government, they're gonna take away their highway funding and this and that. Now, where does the highway funding come from? It comes from the state. They send money that they collect in taxes for
To
gas.
the federal
They
government.
send it to the federal government, and then the federal government's supposed to send them so much
Right,
back.
because
But
the
now the
federal
government
is
holds
over-
that.
The state is not capable to handle their
Well,
own.
no. The federal government needs their pound of flesh. So
Oh.
you have to send the money there. Let's say you send them $1, you're not gonna get $1 back.
You're gonna get $100 back.
Well, according to Nancy Pelosi, you might get $1.79 back, but let's say you send them $1 and you're gonna get less than $1 back.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, because they have to take their money. Well, now they hold up the rest of it. Let's say they're supposed to give you 80% back. Now they have 80% of your money that you sent them, and because you don't put a particular sign in your bathroom door, the government says, we're not gonna send you the 80%, which is technically back. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna extort you. They're gonna put that as leverage over you. Your money, they're gonna hold you for leverage.
Oh.
So it's government overreach. That's why Freedom Foundation and these people are involved, because you have to nip this in the bud. This has been going on for decades in this country.
Yeah.
And people have sat around, and thank God we have organizations like this, and thank God we have a guy like a Larry Klayman that's trying to do something about Bundy. Because let me tell you something, Bundy's got a serious, serious cancer. He's in jail, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And how do you battle these people that are in power? The problem is the power.
Yeah.
You have to take away their power because they're abusing it. That's it. It's as simple as that. End of case. I rest my case.
So.
All rise.
If you believe in justice, if you believe in being fair, Bundy need help. And unfortunately, help is like freedom. It doesn't come free. You need to help Bundy if you have any idea of what is to be in prison, in jail, or incarcerated, whatever you want to call them, unjustifiable. you need to help. Send the money to Johansson and to help with the defense of Cleveland Bundy and his kids. And everybody else that is there. It's not only the Bundy family. There's other people that are there. There's even a journalist.
There's a journalist out of Ohio that's in jail because he reports the truth, and the government can't stand the truth.
And that's why I keep saying that if Donald Trump don't win this election, I quit. I close the newspaper, I close the radio station, I close everything, because it's not going to be any freedom, it's not going to be any way, freedom of anything, freedom of the press, freedom of opinion, freedom of movement, freedom of go to the bathroom if you want to. So
well, look, they're not doing it in North Carolina. You can't go to the bathroom in North Carolina unless you prove you are whatever bathroom you're trying to go into. Let's say you're trying to go into the women's bathroom. You need to prove you were born a woman.
well, I agree.
You can't go in there if you're dressed like a woman.
I agree with that, but that's a show for tomorrow. No,
Well, but is the government telling you what bathroom you can go to? For God's sakes, where does this end?
No, I don't want my daughter to go to a bathroom where she might run into a guy. I don't care how the guy is.
What if it's not a
and
guy
I tell
anymore?
you one thing, my friend. I know a lot of gay people. I have friends that are gay. I don't have any kind of ill feeling against people that think different. But when you go to a bathroom where children can be there, it's confusing. It is confusing. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with anybody. I have to disagree with everybody on that. I believe that you need to now. If they want.
The real point of this
Well,
situation is that the government's trying to overreach and control something.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
need control. There's never been a problem in North Carolina with the bathrooms, with some pervert showing up trying to. This never happened before. This is the government trying to control
okay.
everybody's life,
Okay, yeah.
and that's the
I get-
problem.
I
That's
get-
the problem.
I got the point. I got
Right.
the point now.
That's
Okay.
the issue.
Yeah, okay. So I shouldn't not say what I just said. I open my mouth and I express
Well,
my opinion, and now people are gonna tell me that I'm anti-gay and I'm this and that.
Well,
and that,
you know, the
but-
point is, the whole point is the government overreaching. That's the point.
Okay, folks, I went over 4 minutes, so please excuse me for putting you through the headache of listening to my accent for extra 4 minutes. So thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless our troops.